Hello, this is Mike the Burge from the band Critical Defect. This video is the launch to a project I call Shredder's Paradise. Now in this series of videos, we're going to talk about some of my stuff, some of other people's stuff, the mechanics, techniques, and thought process behind the music, anything and everything shred guitar related. Now this first video, we're going to feature the guitar solo to a new song called Crumble. My band has the good fortune of opening up for Life of Agony tomorrow night, and we're going to be debuting this song at that show. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the riff underneath the solo. It goes like this. Okay, that reminded me a lot of like Led Zeppelin, and it had a classic rock kind of feel to it. So I chose to go with Dorian minor with this solo. Now, I'm breaking the rules a little bit because there is a flat 6 in that riff. It comes up twice. And for some reason, Dorian doesn't seem to clash with it, at least not to my ear, so I just went with it. For the opening riff, I'm using unison bends, and I'm doing something that I call the magic of threes. And what the magic of threes is basically, it's a 3-note cycle over like a 2-note pattern, like 8th notes or 16th notes, etc. And the way I count that, the long version is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the short version of that would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we're actually going to use both variations on there. It opens up with the unison bends. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the second time around, I'm doing the shorter version, but to throw a little monkey wrench in the works, I've added 16th notes. So I do 1 8th note and then 4 16th notes, which equals 3 8th notes. That right there is the equivalent of 3 8th notes, and I repeat that pattern again, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now, and then the last part, I end in 16th notes. So that fleshes out the measure. And then I end with a right hand tapping riff, which switches to triplets. So all together. This next riff, it's based in 8th note triplets, and I'm using a different kind of rhythmic cliche that's less common. I call this the Eric Johnson 5s. Now, what Eric Johnson loves to do, he plays these 5-note patterns all the time, and it doesn't matter whether you're playing triplets or whether you're playing something based in 4s like 16th notes. This works in either rhythmic situation, and it creates this cascading kind of sound that's really, really cool. So when I originally wrote this riff, it was a cross-picking exercise, and basically, you know, I was in your pentatonic pattern, and when you're playing an E minor 7th arpeggio, all you have to do is take one note out of your pentatonic scale. That note right there, you're going to take that out, and that's an E minor 7th arpeggio. Okay, so what I did is I cycled through that. You know, I started on my E, played 5 notes, went up to the next note in the pattern, and play 5 more notes, and so on and so forth till I get to the top. Okay, so let's bass that in triplets. So, I had a hand injury about 3 weeks ago, and it's made the cross-picking stuff really difficult to do. So, I had to come up with a different way to play this because I got a show tomorrow night, and I somehow have to be able to play this live. So, I turned it into a miniature sweeping lick. And what I did is I took those first 5 notes, and I played in that box. And when I come up to here, I move that shape over so that I'm starting on the 10th fret. So now what I have is, and then your next shape, this is kind of an awkward one to hold. Okay, I'm on the 9th fret here, I'm hammering to 12, then a sweep. You go 9, 8, 12. So those 3 patterns together. And then from there, you have this shape which repeats. Okay? So, 2 frets apart, then 4 frets apart, then you take the same shape and repeat it, starting up here. Okay, so all together. Again. This next riff is kind of my answer to Yngwie Malmsteen's descending 4s that he uses all the time. And I'm using the magic of 3s again, but this time I'm using an entire group of 4 as my 1 count. So I'll play 3 groups of 4, jump to a different place on the neck, play 3 groups of 4 again, so on and so forth. Now, before I go too far, I want to mention a guy named Troy Grady who he dives into this in great detail. If you guys haven't seen the series called Cracking the Code, absolutely fantastic series. I definitely recommend you check it out. Now, I'm not going to get into the pick slanting in this video. There's a lot that goes into it, and Troy explains it better than I ever could. This riff, if you were to strictly alternate pick it, requires something called two-way pick slanting. And if you guys want to know more about two-way pick slanting, check out Troy's episode featuring Michelangelo Badio. And he gets right into that in great detail, shows you what it requires. Now, instead of doing two-way pick slanting on this riff, what I've done is I've used some hammer-ons and pull-offs and economy picking. So I'm going to take just one pattern of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the entire pattern. And then I move it to a different section on the neck and keep going again. Okay, so now before we keep going with the riff itself, let me explain how I'm picking that. And it's a little bit different, okay? It involves, like I said, hammer-ons and pull-offs, and then what we call economy picking or sweep picking. So I start off with pull-offs, and then I pick that note when I go to the B string, And then what I'm going to do, this begins a sweep. I'm going to do a 2-string sweep with, you know, down and then back up. So, sweep, sweep. And then I just noticed this quirk as I was filming this video. I actually do another sweep right here and then pull off to end it. Okay, I'll slow that down a little bit more, and then we'll play it up to speed. Okay. Final riff is one of my favorite things to do. This is string skipping right hand tapped arpeggios. Now, that's a mouthful. So, I'm going to break this thing down. We're going to start out and we're going to be in the pentatonic pattern. Now, the cool thing about this, you know, before you start thinking arpeggios and big scary words and stuff, that's the box pattern that we've been playing ever since we started playing guitar. Now, if you come up here to the 19th fret and you tap, you can tap that whole line, and every note there sounds good. So the next step in that, all we're going to do is we're going to start skipping strings. So it's... Now, that creates a really cool, it's a minor 9th arpeggio. You kind of get the add 9 right at the end there. So, that's how it starts out. Now, I switch to a G arpeggio. Then right there, I'm switching to A major. So let's try that again. Now, that end part is kind of tricky as you're coming down the A major. Now right here, you hammer out of nowhere onto the 15th fret with your 3rd finger. Then come up here. Okay, and that's the G major. Technically, I'm actually switching back to, it's an E minor 7th. And that's what does it right there. And then end with a bend. Oh, let's try that again. Okay, a little quicker. That wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We do have a free shredded guitar boot camp. If you guys are interested, go ahead and check that out. There should be a link attached to this video. All right, we'll catch you in the next one.